As you may or may not know, my wife and I just got back from Vegas. It was a great trip. We ate, we drank, we had a blast. But then we got home and looked at the credit card, and I gotta say, it doesn't matter how much fun you're having, $25 for a drink is a ripoff. Frickin' Vegas. I hate getting ripped off, and so do the lads over at Harry's. They spent years watching the razor blade companies rip people off and said, no more. Not all heroes wear capes, my friends, and they want to prove that they're legit by offering you hot dogs a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. I've been telling you about them for months, and I'm genuinely proud to have Harry's as a sponsor of this show. I wasn't kidding. The plastic, futuristic-looking crap razors you get at the store are overpriced and they're poor quality. Harry's blades are crisp, clean, and classy. They're the kind of razor you'd expect your grandpa to have on his bathroom counter. And most importantly, they work. Shave after shave, they're so smooth, they're precise. I used to go through the crappy store blades all the time, but Harry's are built to last. And they're not just better quality than the other names, they're more affordable. And they deliver. Just set your schedule, and for as little as $2, new blades, shaving creams, lotions, everything you need, right to your door when you need it. I genuinely cannot think of a reason not to try Harry's. And I'm not just saying this because they're sponsors. They're the best shaving supplies I've ever used. Try them out, and if you're not happy, your shave's on them. And unlike the other subscriptions, they're really easy to cancel if you want to too, which is a nice bonus, but believe me, you're not going to want to cancel. Getting ripped off isn't funny. Switch to Harry's. Get started with a $13 trial set for just $3 at harrys.com/RTG. That's harrys.com/RTG for a $3 trial set. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Remember the Game. It is my retro gaming podcast where every week a buddy of mine and I sit down and we geek out about the games we played back in the day. My name is Adam Blank. Thank you so much for listening to the show. This week it is episode 98, and we are talking Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic for the original old school giant ass Xbox. Here on in, this game may be referred to as KOTOR because that is much quicker to say and actually sounds better than Knights of the Old Republic, in my opinion. This game won our Patreon poll last month, and as you folks know, every single month our Patreons get to pick one of the games that we're going to review the following month. So here you go, as contractually obligated. Here is your Star Wars KOTOR review. I played this game for the first time over the last few weeks getting ready for this episode. And, we'll get into it more in a minute, but I like it. I like it a lot. I'm pretty excited to talk about it. So Miklos, my pal Miklos is here. We are going to get into that in a few minutes. You guys know I'm going to ramble first. If you would like to vote in our Patreon polls and do all that other good stuff, it's only $2 a month over at patreon.com/rememberthegame. You can vote in the polls, submit questions, chat with me. You get access to our weekly bonus podcast, Expansion Pass. And just quickly for the record, I just posted a complete list of every back episode you will get bonus episodes over at patreon.com/rememberthegame. Everyone can see them. You don't even have to be a member. You just go there, click it. You can read them all, and you get them all day one, okay? You can download them right into your phone through your app, except for Spotify for some fucking reason. You can download them on anything else. They're all right there, ready to go. And you'll get a shout-out on the show if you support us on Patreon. Just like the following people: Robert L., Rome21, Ryan White, Scott. I don't know your last name, Scott. I know nothing else about you. Sean P., Sean Rizine, Sharonic, the infamous Slick Rick, Thomas Christian, my pal Todd from Australia, Tyler, Will Grace, and our newest Patreon supporter, longtime Instagram friend, Bullfrog. Welcome to the team, my friend. You guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. If you want all that stuff, you guys, $2 a month. There's your plug. Oh, yeah, and don't forget, we're giving away a Switch freaking Lite for episode 100 in June. Patreons, if you pay for your Patreon account in June, you are in the draw just like that. But if you don't support us on Patreon, you can still enter the draw free of charge. Just send an email to memberthegame@gmail.com. Email will be in the description. It's not remember, it's member the game. With your name and the answer to the question, what is my favorite game of all time? Hint, it is the only game to get a perfect 10 here on the show. I've talked about it a million times. Deadline to enter is June 8th. I've received some entries already. Thank you much. I'm not writing back to them yet because I don't want to open them. I'll try to get to that this week. And I promise I'm not doing anything with your email. Like, I'm not that smart. I'm not selling it to anyone. I'm not going to spam you with anything. I promise. I'll be lucky if I can manage to figure out how to open all the emails. I'm not doing anything with it. I just want to give away a Switch and do it fairly. There you go. Let's get into the news. I'm trying to pull back on the Patreon plugs. I got to do it. It's my job. I'm just trying not to ram them down your throat for 20 minutes at a time. Anyway, as far as the news goes, nothing is really jumping out at me this week. I got a few things I want to talk about, but there's no big crazy news this week, in my opinion. We're going to see a ton of game news this summer. Like I mentioned last episode, with no E3 or any of those events, companies are just fucking blah and just dropping shit completely out of nowhere. I'll break down anything big that jumps out at me during these intros. I'm really excited. Give me a summer of gaming news. Fuck yeah. And like stealth drops and information about the new consoles. And it's too bad there's not going to be an E3 because I think this E3 would have been a fucking banger, but it's still going to be fun. And speaking of game announcements, Sony has announced that there will be a State of Play, which if you don't know, like Nintendo does Nintendo Directs, Xbox has Inside Xbox, Sony does a State of Play. These are like little 15, 20-minute presentations put on by the company. They just stream them online. You can watch. Really fun. I suggest that whatever systems you're interested in, watch them when they come out because they're really neat. Sony's announced a State of Play for, I guess it'd be today when you guys hear this. It's tomorrow when I'm recording this for the for May 27th. It's gonna be all about The Last of Us Part 2. And God, I don't know if you do or not. I know I mentioned it every week. I cannot fucking wait to play Last of Us Part 2. I don't assume it's gonna have any spoilers in it. There's still so many people running around spoiling this game for people on social media, on Reddit, on Facebook pages, on the internet, fucking everywhere. Just for the record, again, go fuck yourselves if you're running around spoiling that. Why would you want to spoil anything? I've ranted about it a million times. I don't get. You're just a fucking loser. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what you're about. You are a fucking loser. If your big way to get jollies is to run around spoiling something that people have been waiting for so long, go fuck yourselves. That said, I've seen a few spoilers unintentionally. And so I've deleted like the PlayStation 4 Reddit and stuff off my phone, and I still can't wait to play it, even with the spoil. I don't even care. I'm hoping they're not true because that way I don't know what's coming, but I don't care. I can't wait to play that fucking game. Sony's also announced that a special edition PS4 Pro with Ellie's tattoo, who's a character from Last of Us, if you didn't know, will be like in the top of it, and it's coming out on June 19th with the game. I guess maybe there's a few people out there that want to play Last of Us 2 that haven't bought a PS4 yet, but like there's 110 million PlayStation 4s out there. I don't know how many more they're going to sell. Like to me, this is just them. They've got a bunch of PS4 Pros laying around and they're going to try to blow them out. So they're going to put this design on it and try to cash in on it right now and get rid of it. Get rid of them while you can. And I'll tell you guys, just quickly, listen, like if you didn't buy any system this gen, the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4, the months leading up to and after the next gen release is the perfect time. The perfect time. I bought my PlayStation 3 like 6 months before the PS4 came out. I never had one for the whole console or the whole gen. And then in that 6 months, I played all the Uncharted's, the Infamouses, Last of Us, and it was all like dirt cheap and fucking awesome. So like if you don't mind waiting to play, it's not a bad time to do it. This gen, dude, I had an Xbox One when they launched. I didn't really like it, so I got rid of it. I bought an Xbox One Series S on Black Friday last year because they were dirt cheap, and I fucking adore that thing now. Like if you're loyal to one brand, if you're loyal to Sony or Microsoft, you can grab the other company's system dirt cheap now and play the great exclusive you missed out on because both sides have them. right? If you're a PlayStation gamer, fucking grab an Xbox, and with a month of Game Pass, you can play all the Halos, all the Gears of War, Sunset Overdrive, the Ori games. And if you're an Xbox owner and you never played a PlayStation, Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, Last of Us Part 2 is coming out right away. Like there's exclusive, like both systems. Final Fantasy VII Remake is over on the PlayStation 4 right now. So much fun, man, and they're dirt cheap. I wish I could have done that with the Genesis in the 90s. I'm sure at some point the Super Nintendo and the Genesis got cheap because the new systems were coming out. I just never had any money as a kid, so I couldn't get a Sega Genesis. But now, especially now that I've played some of them and realized how fun some of the games are, I wish that I had been able to pick one up dirt cheap at the end of their generation. So, and speaking of the Switch, actually, I don't think I was speaking of the Switch. I put that in my notes, but I don't think I was talking about the Sega Genesis. Genesis and the Switch are almost the same thing. The Genesis Classic Collection is on the Switch, so there's your segue. Speaking of the Switch, it's getting some Borderlands, some BioShock, and some XCOM ports this week. And it's crazy because when these got announced, it was fucking huge, and then we heard nothing else about them, and now they're coming out in a couple of days, and we still haven't seen reviews or anything, which has me a little concerned. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like I'm not a Borderlands guy at all. I tried a couple of them, just not for me. I adore the BioShock games, but I think I would rather play them on my big TV with my sound system on my Xbox and my PS4. Plus, they're cheaper there than they are on the Switch, so I probably won't buy those for the Switch. But XCOM 2 intrigues me because I've almost bought it a few times now. I've really gotten into that tactical genre. Like I really enjoy those games a lot. And everyone says XCOM 2 is like the gold standard. But I want to see how it runs on the Switch first, though. Because I think I would prefer to have a game like that on the Switch over playing it on my giant TV, I think. But, like, the fact that we haven't seen a review and it's coming out in a couple of days is a touch concerning for me. So I'm going to wait and see how it runs. Plus, I've read some stories that it only runs decently on Xbox. It's, like, half decent on the Xbox and the PS4. It's computers where to play it on the stupid PC, and I'm never going to be one of those kids. But I'm curious if you guys are interested in Borderlands, BioShock, or XCOM. Those are 3 big gets for the Switch. It's pretty cool to see more and more companies supporting that thing. Oh yeah, and quickly before I get into like what have I been playing, and then we get into KOTOR. I don't talk a lot of movies on here. You guys know that I haven't seen hardly anything, but I finally have seen the Star Wars movies. This ties into KOTOR. I figured it's a good place to bring it up. I never watched Star Wars as a kid. I just wasn't. I always played video games. I never watched any movies. But now that they're on Disney Plus and my girlfriend and I are stuck in the house, we finally just watched them, and we watched all of them. The only one I haven't seen now of the main ones is Solo, and then I haven't seen any of like the TV shows or anything like that. I hear Solo is awful, so I'm not in any hurry to watch it. But I just want to say, first of all, Star Wars is a pretty cool franchise. Like, I hope people support this thing because I want it to make it. It's pretty neat. I get the hype now. Also, I learned after posting my movie rankings online, Star Wars fans are very passionate, and they're very opinionated, and they're very angry. And I don't get it. Like, I don't like... I mean, I guess maybe the new Ghostbusters movie kind of pissed me off, and Ghostbusters is kind of my Star Wars, so I suppose I kind of get it. But, like, I only think 3 of the... I would say 10 that I've seen. So that's 1 through 9 plus Rogue One. I only think 3 of them are bad. And just really quick, I know some of you don't care about... Well, I don't care about Star Wars. I can't imagine you listening to this episode. But we watched them in the release order. So we watched, so was it 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, like 7, Rogue One, 8, 9, I think, or something, whatever the order is. And while I can't remember all their names, just quickly, I would rank them from best to worst. Episode 5, which I know is Empire Strikes Back, is the best one. I would go 5, 4, 8. Everyone yelled at me there. 3, Rogue, 6, 7, 9, 1, 2. Just quickly, only 9, 1, and 2 weren't that good. I didn't really enjoy them. And everyone yelled at me for liking part 8. But I thought it was rad. And then they just dropped the ball with 9. I thought they had set up a story that I was interested in seeing. And then they just went completely different. And it fucking sucked. I didn't like 9 at all. And just quickly, the 3 best characters in Star Wars are Han Solo, BB-8, and Darth Vader. And I don't know if they're in that order or not, but those are my 3 favorite characters. That's my opinion. Those are my list of my movies. Feels good. I get all the references now. I get it. KOTOR makes a lot more sense. I can't imagine playing it not knowing what a Jedi is, which I didn't until I started watching the movies. But it feels good. Feels great. I'm a Star Wars guy now. I fucking get it. It's cool. That's enough. What am I playing? That's what you guys probably aren't here for that either. You're here for KOTOR talk. But what have I been playing over the last 7 days? And then we'll talk Star Wars. Super Mario Sunshine. I finished it. I finished it late last night before I went to bed. And man, Like, at times that game was so fun, and at times it was so fucking bad. God, ugh. We'll definitely do an episode on it soon. I'll share my thoughts. Some people have already asked me, is it going to replace Echo the Dolphin? No, it's Mario Sunshine. Like, shit's all over Echo the Dolphin, but it's got some problems. And I think Galaxy and Odyssey spoiled 3D Marios for me, and then going back to try to play one of the old ones was a little frustrating. But I'm glad we're done. I'm glad to be done it because I've finished every Mario game now. That was always a big problem for me, and now it's finished and gone. And I can readjust from that goddamn backwards camera. Because again, if you haven't heard my rant, when you have to move the camera on Mario Sunshine, left goes right, right goes left, and you can't uninvert it. And it is the most frustrating thing. And then I go down and try to play something on my Xbox, and I was trying to use the backwards camera because I had trained myself to use, and fuck. So I'm just done now. I can go back to normal cameras. Mario Sunshine, fucking done. Episode coming soon. Speaking of my Xbox, I finally gave up on Final Fantasy 15. I put about 20 hours in. I think I'm at chapter 9, and I just, I want to like it, but I don't, if that makes sense. Like, the combat is fun. I like the characters. I like the world, but there's just way too much boring traveling, either walking or riding chocobos or just sitting in the car. And I think the story is worse than this podcast. It just makes no sense. And it's hard for me to walk away from a game like that because I hate leaving games partially done. I probably finish more games I start than I don't. Like, if I get past a few hours of a game, I want to see it through to the end most of the time. And everyone games their own way. There's no wrong way to play video games, but I just don't understand how people don't finish games. Like, what's the point of starting 400 movies and then turning them all off 30 minutes in? It's just, I've never wrapped my head around it. I don't care. Do you fucking play your games however you want to play? You know, and I don't finish everything, but I like to see it through to the end, right? And I'm trying to get better because I have forced myself to finish games that I've dreaded playing because I hated them, but I wanted to see it through to the end. And that ruins the hobby for me. At this point, it's not even a hobby. It's shit. It's just a shitty job. So I'm trying. If I'm trying to just walk away, if I'm not having fun anymore, I'm just tapping out. I'm not finishing it. And that's what happened with Final Fantasy 15. Fucking suck it, Final Fantasy 15. I played enough to know where I would rank you on my ranks, and it's very low so far. I've also finished Super Castlevania 4 on my Super Nintendo Classic, which won this month's Patreon poll. Pretty rad game. We'll drop an episode on it next month, but I was thoroughly impressed. It was so cool discovering a new Super Nintendo game that I hadn't played before because I love that system so much. And then I've been playing a ton of Streets of Rage 4 on my Xbox on Game Pass. I went from sucking at it and getting mad at it to being pretty decent at it and still getting mad at it because it's really hard, I think, but it's also really fun. I'll give you a full review of it this Sunday on Expansion Pass, but really, really like it. If you like beat 'em ups, there's a lot of strategy to this one. I would suggest it for sure. And then I'm thinking about trying Medieval this week. I know a bunch of you wanted it to win the Patreon poll this month. It looks really fun. We'll see if I got time, but I'd like to give it a shot. So that's what I've been playing. That's the news. That's my rankings of the Star Wars movies. That's enough rambling. Let's talk KOTOR, episode 98, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I've wanted to show the original Xbox more love on this show forever because I think in the previous 97 episodes, we've only covered one Xbox exclusive game, and that was the original Halo. I preferred my Xbox to the PlayStation 2, but I also didn't play a ton of the exclusives aside from the Halos. I never played Jade Empire. I never played Ninja Gaiden. I hadn't played KOTOR until now. And when you look up the list of the best Xbox games, pretty well everyone has Halo, Halo 2, and KOTOR as some order of their top 3. And I have to say, after playing through it, I get it. I get the hype. It's really fun. A little confusing, but we'll get into that. I liked it a lot. My old buddy Miklos joined me this week. I'm going to cue some music. And we are going to talk Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This episode is full of spoilers, by the way. You've been warned. That game dropped originally on the Xbox on July 15th, 2003. Kick back, relax. May the Force be with you. Let's talk Star Wars. Here we go. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Everyone that listens to this podcast knows about our illustrious CEO, my dog Molly. But the other silent partner behind the scenes is my wife. And let me tell you, my friends, a 17-year relationship with another person that has to talk to and live with you is a lot harder to maintain than one with a dog. We've had our ups and downs, and as you all know, a relationship isn't all sunshine and rainbows. They can be a lot of work. You get out what you put in when it comes to relationships, and talking to a therapist can be a fantastic way to put in some work. They can help you work through your issues, learn to communicate better, and even just provide you with an ear to bend when you need it. I've talked to my therapist about my relationships, especially when it came to my stand-up comedy career and how much I was away from home, and they helped me work on ways to keep my relationship strong even when I was out on the road. it turned out our relationship was actually better when I was out on the road, but that's a story for another day. And I know, right? Therapy. Who has the time these days? BetterHelp hears you, and they're making it easy. Fill out a quick form online, and they'll match you up with a therapist that suits your needs and that'll work around your schedule. You pick the meet times, and you can get your therapy fix from anywhere, over video, phone, or just chat. Become your own soulmate, whether you're looking for one or not. Visit BetterHelp.com/RememberTheGame today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/RememberTheGame. Okay, so I would have already stated this in the intro, but I don't know, like, I am not a Star Wars geek. So if you are a super Star Wars, like, hardcore nerd, and we fuck something up today, please don't yell at us. Or if you have to yell at one of us, yell at Mick.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a Star Wars fan.
I was gonna say, you know your Star Wars, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you'll pick up the slack. Okay. So it's funny because this game won our Patreon poll in May. Or in April, and then when I said we'll do an episode on it, literally, like, I hadn't even turned it on yet. I posted about it, and you messaged me and were like, "Yo, do you have a guest for KOTOR yet?" And I was like, "No," and you were like, "Okay, I'm in." So like, so you like KOTOR?
Oh man, I probably played it like 5 or 6 times, trying to get all the different things you can do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, because you're, like you said, you're a bit of a Star Wars nerd, and you're also like a board game, Dungeons and Dragons, all that type of stuff nerd, right?
Oh yeah, I love RPGs.
Okay.
They're my favorite.
So then, did the combat system in this game make sense to you right away?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I got it pretty quick. It wasn't too bad. I mean, it was kind of like a prototype system that doesn't get used very often. They get used in a bunch of older games. But I think they did a really good job with this one once you kind of get the hang of it.
Yeah,
trying to, like, the AI system's not great.
No, it isn't.
But building your own characters is pretty cool.
Yeah, because I liked more of this game than I didn't like. But there's a couple of things, and the first thing is, admittedly, like, I only started watching Star Wars when they came to Disney Plus. So I'm new to the universe, but I don't think you need to know that much about, like, as long as you know about the Force and the dark side and like lightsabers, I think you're pretty good. Like, there's no real, unless I'm mistaken and I missed it, I don't think there's any real references to most of the movies, because this happened like a couple of thousand years before the movies. Yeah. So I don't think you need to know about Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker or any of that stuff to play them.
Nope. Just the Force.
Yeah, just the Force, if you understand, because the Force is such a big part of the game. But like, I will say, Mick, because I've played quite a few RPGs in my time as well. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons or anything, but I've played a lot of video game RPGs. It took me a long time to figure out the combat in this fucking game, and the stats and the weird numbers. And admittedly, like, originally, dude, like, when I finished, I was ready to roast this game, in the sense of, like, there's no tutorial mode, really. They don't really explain anything. But then
that's what I love, man. I love getting into a game and it not really explaining how everything works.
Oh, as opposed to
it, like, spoon feeding you.
Yeah, as opposed to Final Fantasy 15.
15. Oh, fuck me. Jesus, that game is the worst for that.
We'll stick to KOTOR, but I've been playing Final Fantasy 15 for the first time and messaging with Mick about it. And Mick's like, "Oh, are you done the 20-hour tutorial yet?"
It's not even 20 hours, man. It's longer than that.
It's like the whole game is teaching you stuff.
I think I played like a day or more, and I was like, I can't even control a second player. But
so like, to me, there's a middle ground.
Yeah,
there's a happy balance between not explaining anything and explaining too much. And I was ready to rip this game for not explaining the combat to me, but then I did realize, for what it's worth, when this game came out back in 03? Yeah, 03. It came with an instruction manual that games don't come with today, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just so used to games today where there aren't any instruction manuals. That's why you have those tutorials, because there's no manual. And this game obviously would have come with one, because like, dude, so like if you've never played KOTOR, like the combat is not like a traditional JRPG where like you pick like attack and then it's your next turn you pick attack and then you pick an item. Like you have all these like pluses and minus, and it's like it's apparently it rolls a dice. Is that what it is?
Yep.
So what the fuck?
Everything's about the dice roll.
Okay, so does that mean every single time you attack a bad guy, it rolls the dice?
Yeah.
Okay, because I literally finished the game and still don't entirely understand what was happening during the combat.
So for basic, I'll just use like it as a D&D kind of reference.
Yeah.
In D&D you have what's called your armor class, and if you can't roll higher than someone's armor class with your bonuses, so say if their armor class is 16 and you roll a d20 and you got like 12 but you get a +3 and it's 15, you would miss.
Okay, so a d20 is a 20-sided dice.
Yes.
So you would roll it, get a 12, and then you have a 3 bonus, which brings you up to 15, but if the other guy's defense is 16, then you don't hit him.
Yes.
Oh, see, just that makes it make more sense than anything I fucking came across during this game.
Yeah.
Because I was,
So, like-
oh, fuck me.
So you're going to have these guys who've got like real good evasion or whatever, right? So you're trying to figure out how to hit them. And then you got to kind of like switch up your tactics, right? It's like the kind of the classic RPG thing is like some people are really good with regular defense, but their magic defense is horrible. And
Right.
This one would be like force defense or like special attack defense, right?
Right, okay. Because, like,
Yeah.
I didn't understand it at first. And then I also feel like I made a mistake, because when you start the game, you can pick from Scout, Soldier, or Scoundrel. And I thought Scoundrel sounded coolest, so I picked that one.
Yeah.
And basically, like, as I was reading about it, they were just like, yeah, Scoundrel, like, kind of sucks at attacking early on.
Yeah.
And so, like, every time I used the sword, I missed. So then I was using guns and just staying as far away from them as I could. But, like,
Yep.
but then, like, the other thing is, like, maybe it explains it in the manual, but, like, the first few times I got into combat, so then I'm, like, bashing the button, like, to go attack, because I'm thinking maybe this plays like Mass Effect. But then it doesn't. Like, you set it to attack, and then you could just put the controller down unless you want to do something else.
You-
What the fuck? I've never played anything like that.
it's very like hands on if you want it to be.
Yeah.
I know that when I would make like a group, I would usually try to take 2 force users and then a gun guy.
Okay. Yeah, me
so
too.
I would either use like the Mandalorian. I think is pretty good. Is there a Mandalorian in this one, or is that the other?
Yeah,
one?
no, that's oh, guys, I'm sorry. I had all the characters brought up. I'll bring them back because everyone's gonna get mad at us if we don't know all their fucking names.
I've forgotten most of the character names. It's been forever. I could tell you what most of them do.
I'm just looking
But I would usually have that evil
Canderous. Canderous is the Mandalorian.
I would pick him, or I liked picking the Twi'lek.
Twi'lek. Oh yeah, the mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like picking her because just having her as a support character, because she's a really good scoundrel, she can unlock like everything
Right.
as you go on. The same with the robot, the assassin droid.
Oh,
He's pretty good at
he's the best.
He's pretty good at
H-
once you get him.
HK-47.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once he joined my party, I never took him out. I thought he was fucking hysterical.
Having him in your party, I mean, he's really good, but its disadvantage is that you can't use just healing spells.
Yeah.
Right. Which I thought was pretty cool. It's a really good thing to have, especially if you have a character that is kind of overpowered, to give them some kind of weakness.
Right.
Which I think this game did really good. I really liked how this game lets you kill characters.
Dude, yes.
If you
So-
wanted to be evil.
Okay, because like there you go. Okay, so like because we'll get into the characters and stuff, but like so before I played this game, all the review, because this thing is like universally loved. Like this game has got great reviews across the board everywhere you look. The only criticism of it is that the first 4 or 5 hours are quite slow, and
Oh yeah.
and they are. Like I almost quit like in the first few hours, and I was gonna come on and just be like, I don't get it. This game fucking sucks.
Once you get to go into other worlds,
Yeah.
and I like how like they definitely scale it based on which ones you pick in order.
Yeah.
So like if you're like, I want to go to the water world, the water world is set up for whatever your last thing that you beat is, or whatever your level is at.
Yeah.
So you're going in and you're always fighting stuff like around your level.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool.
Agreed. Because the first, dude, like that first 2 hours when the only person in your party is shitty Karth, the fucking Republic. And like, oh yeah, so I looked online too because I was like, this guy's a fucking loser. And then I looked online and everyone hates him. Like he's just a fucking Boy Scout and I hate him.
He's not good. Fun thing you can do is well, because I'm assuming you played a male Hoju.
Yep.
And then you can have like the romantic relationship with the first female chick, the one that you have like the bond with.
Bastila.
Yeah. With Bastila, you can have like a romantic relationship with her. But if you play as a female, you can have the romantic relationship with Garth.
Oh, fuck. That would suck. Karth is such a loser. So, okay. So, like, you're stuck in that first world and you don't have any force powers at all.
Yeah.
And you've got lame-ass Karth following you around. And I was like, well, this kind of sucks. And Karth fucking sucks. And everyone was like, just get off the first land and the first planet and it gets so much better. And then you start to unlock the abilities of like using the force. And then you get a lightsaber, which made combat so much better. Because again, the scoundrel, okay, because I meant to bring that up because you mentioned that you always brought Mission because she could do stuff like pick locks and things like that. Yeah. Making my character a scoundrel, like I picked all my locks and stuff. And now knowing what I know, and they don't really explain it when you start the game, you're right. Like I wouldn't waste my main character on having those abilities when I could just have someone in my party do it. I want my main character to be a badass.
That's something too, when you go and play it like a second time, you kind of have the idea of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
In a group.
Yeah.
The first time you play through is going to be a lot harder for sure. And especially the way you play, like, I found the difficulty setting was more aligned with your personal alignment that you were doing. So if you wanted to be evil throughout the game, you got money and items so much faster.
Oh,
and your guys got stronger so much faster.
Yeah,
than if you played it as like good.
Yeah, I read that because I went complete dark side. Like by the end of that game, I never even got one of the players, which I'll get into in a minute. I assume I killed her. Like I killed everybody. Everybody. Any chance I had to kill someone, I did. Anytime I did something good for somebody and they were like, oh, thank you so much. And it was like, you could shake them down for a reward. I would. And then it would be like, okay, I can give you this. And you're like, oh, we need more than that. I was like, I went full evil and I had so much money. Like I never even spent most of the money I had. But I had read that too. It's a harder game if you play on the good side.
Yeah. So it's so much harder. And there's, the other thing too is like you're not getting into random battles, so you can't just like grind through. Like you can like finish an area. I think you can leave the world and then like come back and then like grind through again.
Right.
But they're all kind of like set at like low levels, so you're not gaining a lot of experience. They're like actively trying to get you to go explore a new area.
Yeah, it's certainly not like a Final Fantasy VI or something where you could just walk around the overworld and make bank.
Oh, yeah. Like, did you do that thing I said about saving in the water level before you leave underwater?
No, I forgot. I did. Okay, because I do want to ask you about that. I did save a lot, and that's one thing that like that was a throwback to vintage gaming for me almost. Because like everything I read was like save, and by the end of the game I had 5 save files, and basically like every 5 minutes I would just save over the oldest one. You know what I mean? Like, and it was like I kind of felt like I was spamming save states, but at the same time I was like I suck at this, and like it doesn't auto save very often.
Some of those battles too are hard and they come out of fucking nowhere.
Out of nowhere, bro. You can be just walking through a temple, wasting everybody, and then all of a sudden you turn a corner, fucking like one of the last like the one of the last temples in the game where you go to that like tropical island and they help you get into the temple. Do you know what I'm talking about? You're walking through and you're like fighting all these like droid guardians or whatever, and it's like a walk in the park. And then I turned this corner into this room where there's like a Sith Lord and these 2 androids. And I probably fought them 10 times and got my ass kicked every time.
Yeah, man, they will fuck you up.
Yeah, it doesn't fuck around at all. And it's weird because it almost gives you this like fake sense of like confidence where you think like, okay, I've got it. Like we're powerful,
Yeah.
we're fine. And then all of a sudden it just feeds you your lunch. Fuck me.
I was gonna say, particularly with like the battle system and how it doesn't really teach you what to do. I found the same thing with because I'm playing Octopath Travelers right now, where they were just like, "This is how it works," and then they were like, "There you go, get in there," and you spend like a couple hours like trying to figure out how the combat system works.
Yeah.
And then like the further you advance, and you're like, "Oh my god, there's even more and more and more," and you're like, "Damn it!" That's kind of the same thing here. And the same thing in Octopath Travelers, where they just like, oh yeah, you're grinding through this level, and then you have to fight the boss, and the boss is like 10, 20 times harder than anything you're fighting around you.
Yeah, and one thing I found in this game is like, because you only have 3 people in your party, and like the combat is real time. I guess. Like, I mean, I think technically it goes back and forth, but like the combat's very quick. And if you let the combat get away from you, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, and I learned that the hard way. Like, until I got the ability to heal with like my Jedi powers and stuff, I would kind of forget about somebody, thinking like, oh, we're almost done, and then all of a sudden somebody drops dead, and I'm like, uh-oh, and then just I was fucked. It just seemed like you know what I mean? Like, it seemed like you'd be going along fine, and then in a matter of 15 seconds, you'd lose a fight. Just everything would go off the rails.
Yeah, you mess up just a little bit, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
And then you got, so like, that's where like once you start unlocking new people in your party, and particularly once you start getting some some powers and stuff like that, I thought it became so much more fun. Like, much more fun.
The game definitely builds and builds on itself. So that underwater area, when you're leaving, you know how there's like their god or whatever, that big creature? It'll be like, it's like blocking your way or something, and you have like choices on what to do. Like, you can kill it, you can destroy something that kills it.
Yeah, the thing, it's like blocking the whatever that healing stuff that comes out of the water is. And you can like poison it or like scare it off of the pump or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. If you kill it, that's it, game over. There is no getting out of that. They come up and they arrest you, and then they put you through court, and that is it. You're done.
That happened to me. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. Because I was going full dark side, and so I was like, "Oh, we're killing this fucking thing." Oh yeah. And quick shout out. I can't remember which turtle it is. One of the 2 people living underwater in that tunnel it's got one of the. I think it's Leonardo from the '87 Turtles cartoon. And the minute he started talking, I was like, holy fuck, that's a turtle. And I looked it up, and it was. That's just my own. I'm not a Star Wars geek. I'm a Turtles geek. And that felt good. But anyway, I killed him, and I was just like, haha. And I killed everything else underwater, and then went back up, and then they arrested me, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I went to the trial, and there's all kinds of different situations in this game where you answer questions, and I assume that the game plays based on how you answer your questions, right? So I'm kind of talking back and stuff during my trial, and then they just sentenced me to death. I died, and it was game over, and I had to redo all the shit I did underwater. I quit for like a day and a half. I was so angry. I was like, okay, that's a great touch, but what the fuck? How do you not autosave for me so I don't have to redo all this shit? What the fuck? So is that where you warned me to save?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to warn you about.
Fuck me.
Like, save a lot, that way like you can just go back and not kill the thing, and then walk out.
Gee, dude, that'd be great advice for anybody. If you're playing this game for the first time, save.
Yeah.
You've got like I was playing it on my Xbox One backwards compatible, and it was like, I forgot the original Xbox showed you how many blocks of memory you had left. And it said I had like 30-some thousand blocks because it's got a 1 terabyte hard drive in it or whatever. So I just was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be saving every 8 fucking seconds, especially after that fucking trial happened. So what a joke that was. Fuck me.
Yeah. Something I think they also did really well in this was, particularly since it's like around the map, right? Like it's not open world per se. Like, you get a big map.
Yeah, you can go from like planet to planet.
And then there's like, but they did a really good job on like side quests, particularly side quests that you had to get stuff from other planets.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job with that.
Yeah, man. To me, the 2 biggest strengths in this game are, because like I could take or leave the combat, it's just not my, like, as much as I enjoyed this game, I realized like that combat's just not my style of game. but I had fun. But to me, the two greatest things they did, one of them we'll get into in a minute, was like they did a great job of making the good and evil decisions matter, which so many games don't. And we'll get into that in a second. But the second thing they did was I literally did pretty much every side quest in this game, or at least most of them. And normally after a few hours, I get bored of side quests and just want to play the main game. But like every side quest I found them fascinating. They weren't all just, oh, hey, this fucking bad guy's terrorizing our town. Can you go kill it? And then we'll give you stuff. Like they were, some of them were really intuitive, and they actually had like problem solving elements to them. You know what I mean? Where you could figure out like how, like the one that sticks out to me is where you deal with the sand people. Is that what they're called?
Oh, yeah.
The sand people or whatever they're called. Those fucking little weird talking
like
savages.
On Tatooine or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like, yeah.
And they're a problem. And then they're like, one of the options is to go get the droid HK-47 that can speak their language, get their costumes, go out, negotiate with them and solve their problem. And then maybe they'll leave them alone. Or you could just go in guns blazing and kill all of them. And the company that's on that planet, it's like, we don't really care how you deal with it. Just get rid of them.
Yeah.
And I thought like there's a ton of scenarios like that I thought were really like I can't believe there's more RPGs today that don't do it as well as this game did almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. And they do a pretty good job too of being like having some of your decisions not always like, so say you kill someone, like your options to kill them, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill them. You kill them. Later on, someone's like, you didn't kill that guy, did you?
Yeah.
And then it like messes up some story later on.
Yeah.
And, like so like some items you can't get, or like even characters, right? You on that Grasslands planet, it's probably the one where you killed the evil Jedi. She's like a cat lady.
Yeah, I never got her. Because I was just killing everybody. I didn't realize she was a playable character, or I wouldn't have killed her. I didn't realize, because I got so into this mindset of killing everybody.
Yeah.
Is she any good?
Yeah, she's real good.
Fuck. And is she dark side?
Yeah, and I think in this game in particular, you can get people to switch their alignment.
I think some of them do,
through with talking with them. In the second one, they do a much better job. And in the second one, except for the robots, you can give everyone else the Force.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. That's another thing I like. Is and actually, this goes back to fantasies, because I played Phantasy Star 4 for the first time last year. I like it when games have like robots in your party, and you, like you mentioned earlier, and you can't heal them normally. Yeah. I think that's a really cool touch. Yeah. Like you have to have med packs and stuff for you guys, but then you have to have repair packs for the robots. But those are the same repair packs you use to fix regular droids that are laying around. Yeah. Really, I think that's a drastically underrated aspect of the game, because then it was like, well, what do I want to do with my repair kits? Do I want to heal HK-47, or do I want to save them to try to heal one of these droids that's laying around, or fix one of these droids that's laying around, and then turn it loose to attack for me? Yeah. Like, and that's another thing it did that I thought was so cool the first time I came across it. You could hack like computers, you could hack droids and all this kind of stuff, and then use them to your advantage.
Avoid a lot of battle if you could find like terminals. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get because you can look through the cameras.
Yeah.
And you're like, look at all these people standing around. What if we just explode the terminal and then all the guys die?
Yeah, and then you don't have to fight any of them.
You could. There's other ones where you can like drop poison gas, or like you can fix the droids and they go around shooting things.
Yeah, and all of that, and like I thought that was so cool, because all that comes at a cost of your computer spikes or your repair parts or whatever. But the better that your character, whatever character you're using, is at computers and repair, the less it costs you. Really, like I don't understand how more games don't bring in stuff like that by today's standards, because that's so clever. Like I thought my only problem with that whole thing was, again, making my guy the scoundrel. I had him just doing most of that stuff, and I was like, well, this is no fun. I would rather be the badass and have an expert on my team that can do that stuff.
Yeah, so. And that's kind of where a lot of these characters too do shine, is how specialized they are. And particularly like cross specialization. So like your Twilight girl, I can't remember her mission.
Yeah.
She is really good at computer stuff. And then I think she's good with like talking to people too. But then you look at like the assassin droid, who's just like great at killing people, but also good at doing the computer stuff. So if you're in a dungeon on like a where there's like on a spaceship or something, you would say pick that guy because you know you're gonna get in a lot of fighting. But if you're like on a town or like running around town, you pick the Twilight chick so that she can has a little bit more range in getting the things that you want.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Right?
did a yeah, you're right. Every character like played so different. Like and forget the combat like cuz I mean
Yeah.
in combat they all either basically play like melee attack or shooting.
Yeah.
But it's those other effects like you said the being able to talk, to being able to pick locks or hack computers or fix stuff. I thought that was such a great borderline underutilized aspect, but maybe only felt underutilized cuz again my guy was the one doing all of it.
Yeah.
But
And
really
and
cool.
and and there's just like so much you can do with it too, right? So, particularly like since you're building all of these characters, and like I think about it from like doing it playing D&D, where you're like you kind of almost want to pick what your end goal is for your character,
Yeah,
and then
like what path
you
do you
really
want to
want
take
to
them down?
you really kind of want to plan it out so you can have like really specialized characters uh coming through, or you can try to have well-rounded guys and you just miss stuff,
Right.
right? So like the difficulty of getting through all the battles you can do real easy, but then you're like sacrificing uh having to do all like not being having to do all these battles,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So you're like, I'm just gonna goon it, I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna beat everything up. Or you get a guys like your scoundrels that like sneak around and try to do like uh kill people without ever having to interact with them.
Yeah, there's like I understand how people play through this game multiple times
Yeah.
because like first of all, there's so many different ways to like address every planet and every planet side quests and every planet scenarios. And that's another thing I loved because I was worried when I got playing it that it was gonna because I like Mass Effect. The first two Mass Effects in particular are great, but like they're so big. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Yeah.
I hate like I borderline don't like giant open world games because I'm like there's just too much and I don't want to miss a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, like when I finished my first planet, I was like, that was really well done because it's nice and tight. You go in, there's side quests you can go find if you want to find them. You deal with how you want to deal with them, and then it's like, all right, clean sweep. Let's move on to the next planet. Then maybe you're going
Yeah.
back once or twice. Like I thought that was
Ha-
really well done, really well done.
having that closed map really helps too,
Oh, so much. And
right?
then
Like you can only go here.
yeah, so much. Like every planet isn't a whole fucking planet. It's just one part
Yeah.
of the planet. And then like you mentioned, they did a great job too of like you can it's Mega Man style where you can do the planets in any order.
Yep.
But they obviously because I was thinking that as I was playing it, I was like, boy, it sure seems like they're leveling as I level. I was like, either I picked the right order or they just happened to adjust the different like the levels of the bad guys based on your level, which is clearly what they do.
Yeah,
Um,
which at the time too was something that no one else is doing. And a lot of things like that's not really, I mean, Skyrim kind of does it. There are other games that do it, particularly some open world games,
mhm.
right? But this idea that you can do these in any order, uh, and then it not mattering, like you're
Yeah,
still gonna level up.
yeah.
So you can go back and be like, well, and it gives a lot of variety to the game, especially for replay value.
Absolutely.
Like
Like this is one of
you're
the few RPGs and I'm like I would play through this again. Like just cuz
yeah.
I went all dark side and I want to see what happens if you go good guy.
Yeah.
Um
You can if you want to just see the ending. You can go with your dark side guy, like your save right before your final decisions,
yeah.
and you just choose all the good ones.
Oh,
Uh, oh,
okay.
here's something else that was really cool. Now that I'm thinking about that, is if you were making a character that was good, and you have all these like good force powers,
Yeah.
and then you switch to go to the dark side, and you still have all these good powers. They cost more and they work less
Oh,
than
really?
if you use any of your dark side stuff, which is really cool too. But because they also like balance
Right.
what's going on. Like so, say for the dark side, you have like lightning,
Yeah.
which is really cool because it affects like a bunch of people, and particularly it helps with robots.
Yeah.
You can then pick disabled droid on the on the good side for fighting robots.
Right.
So it's just a different spell, but has the light side powers.
Oh, that's really cool. I got such a kick out of that. Once I became a Jedi and I could get access to powers, and then every time I leveled up, I was like flipping through the powers, being like, which one do I want to take and stuff like that. I thought that was fucking, like, to me, that was the coolest part of the game. And like the best power is the choke. Because it's just so iconic. And I just would love that. I would choke a guy, and then while he's choking, just whack him with my lightsaber and be like, I'm such a badass. This is so fun.
I did very much enjoy lightning. It kind of has a similar effect. It slows everyone down.
Right.
So they'll like move, and then they'll like stutter because you're just laying in this lightning.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. Right? Yeah. It became so much like, I was 10, 12, 15 hours in, and I was like, where the fuck was this for the first, like, I'm so glad I didn't quit in the first few hours, because I was like, this is awesome. And then we had already mentioned it, like, I enjoy video games where you can pick between being good or bad. But a lot of games, they put that in, but then it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm thinking, have you ever played the Infamous games?
I've played a little bit. I haven't actually finished one.
I adore those games. And in all three of them, you have superpowers, and you can choose between being a hero or a villain. But it doesn't really matter. Like, at the end of the day, the game is going to play out the exact same way. Whereas, like, first of all, I started to notice that my guy was getting all the veins and getting the creepy looking eyes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, dude, I think he's like, I'm going evil. This is fucking awesome. And then, like, certain people interact with you certain ways. And then I guess spoilers, I mean, you guys should expect spoilers on this show. But near the end of the game, after you finish that temple on that island and you go back to the ship, and at this point, I don't know if there's another way for it to happen, but like when I ran into Bastila, because she'd been kidnapped, she was evil. Like, she had been turned bad. And then the two of us like teamed up and we killed the old Jedi, Jolie.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the ship and Karth is like, what's going on? And then we just like, and then we ended up killing Mission and we killed Big Z, the Wookiee. And then it was just me, Bastila, HK-47 and Canderous, like all the badasses. And because I hated Bastila for the whole game. I hated her. And then when she was evil, I was like, dude, you're fucking awesome now. I was like, this is wicked. And then I found out that I was the bad guy. Like, that was so rad.
Yeah, no, we're trying to stop this guy. It's you.
Yeah. Everyone had mentioned, dude, everybody in all the reviews had mentioned this big twist in this game. And I was like, and I was wondering, like, what could it be? Because I had never had it spoiled. And they were like, if you've by chance not had it spoiled, they're like, don't spoil it for yourself. Just play it. And then when I found out that I was like, wow, that's actually a pretty cool twist. Like, that's pretty rad. But now I want to know, like, have you finished the game as a good guy?
Yep.
Like, so what happens is Bastila, can you convince her to come back to the good side, or is she evil forever?
Yep. Well, you guys are tied together.
Right. So she'll she'll go good if you're good?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame. I like her bad.
Here's the thing too. You could from the beginning get her to go dark side by all your interactions. So this is like a grindy thing to do, but like every time you do something, like go back to your ship, talk to all of the people, and like you can decide, like, so you can get all these people that are bad over to the good side. And you get all these people that are good and bring them to the bad side. So you could have a team full of everyone being dark, but it just depends on how much you're willing to put into talking with them.
That makes sense. Oh, that's so cool. How the fuck is a game that deep back then and the games aren't like that now? Like, that's so well done. Fuck me. And then you know what's a great touch? Sorry, is when you come back and like, and Karth like runs off, and then you kill Mission and Big Z, and like I got on the ship with the rest of my evil guys. Bastila's even like, she's like, the droids will follow you no matter what. Which I think is, I know that like HK-47 is dark side, and what the fuck is the other one? TM or T3M4?
Maybe.
I think.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Anyway, he's kind of in between. But like, I love that, again, much like how you can't heal droids, they'll just go with you either way. Like, they'll just listen. Oh yeah, and then when you find out HK-47 was your droid, because he was my favorite character to begin with, and then when I found that out, I was like, wow, and I was like, you're never leaving my side again, my friend. Like, you're the best. And he just calls everyone meatbag, and he's just a piece of shit to everybody. Ah, fuck. What a great fucking game, man. I love this game.
Something else that was cool, particularly, was the upgrading items with certain like so like for instance your lightsaber, you could change your lightsaber crystals.
Yeah.
So you could have like a big red one, or you could have like an unstable yellow one, so it like twitches out. I think you can get a silver one.
Yeah.
You can be like double bladed lightsabers. But you can also do the same thing. You can get stuff for your guns and your swords that like give them bonuses, and then you can take them off, put them on other ones.
Yeah, and like even if I didn't completely understand all the numbers and stuff, I did understand that like the higher your bright green positive number was, the stronger you were.
Yeah.
And actually, you know who I put the most time into making him strong, and then it kind of sucks that he died, was the Wookiee, Zalbar.
Okay.
Because by the time you go to his planet and that's all over and you like get out of there, you like I had him double equipped with like, I don't know, some weapon we got from his planet, and then this other thing that I'd upgraded. And he was a fucking tank. Like,
yeah, because you get a couple like if you specialize in like two-handed or two weapons or whatever.
Yeah, so you can use a
have,
weapon
like,
in each hand.
Yeah, you could be like, oh sweet man, I'm gonna use these two powerful handguns.
Yeah,
And then he's just going around cowboy style shooting everything.
yeah. Like once Bastila left, because my team was always Bastila, and then I would flip who I wanted as my third. But then once she left, I primarily rolled with like Zalbar because he was a tank, and then HK-47 because he was hilarious. And so I would have my lightsaber. I had a dual-edged lightsaber, and then Zalbar had two weapons where he'd just go hack and slash, and then HK-47 would stand in the back and just chirp and shoot. And I was so happy. Like, I'm telling you, if anyone listening to this has played the first few hours and been like, this is kind of slow, blah, get through that. I promise it gets better. Just put on a podcast, listen to it, get through it.
This isn't like Final Fantasy 15 where you're gonna put in like 50 hours of tutorial.
Yeah.
It's a few hours. It's a lot. I think the way they do it is pretty good. I mean, it's slow, but once you get off that first planet, it really is like, okay, now you have everything you need.
Yeah, you have to get through that planet. You need to get a party, and you need to be able to start using some powers, and then it really starts to like open up and get fun.
Yeah, but it does kind of like give you the idea of how everything works. It gives you a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it's a little bit challenging.
Oh, dude, there's a fight early, and I looked it up. There's a fight early on the first planet where you have to go down to like, you know, on the slums or wherever the people, the poor people live, and there's these fucking like people that have been mutated into creatures.
Oh yeah.
And like I've read some people say that's the hardest fight in the game is those fucking creatures in the first couple hours because you're underpowered and you're still learning, and then you have to fight these guys. They killed me many fucking times.
And your resources are like really low.
Yeah. Oh, right?
I don't have, because like a lot of the places like where you would go to buy stuff, they only have like 3 health potions. Right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, well, I'll buy all 3 of them. And you're like, I'm probably going to use them.
And you don't have access to powers to like heal yet or anything.
Yeah.
I died so many times. I was like, again, I almost quit. I was like, fuck this. I don't get it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And then I looked it up and people were like, no, they're going to kill you. Like it sucks. And then there's a fight there. There's a fight. I think it's in there. I think it's on that main island, maybe. But you have to fight this like big creature. And he fucked me up the first time, and then I Googled how to fight him, and they were like, oh, if you've got this poison bomb, just go plant it on the corpse, and he'll go over and sniff it, it'll blow up, and it'll kill him. And I was like, what?
There's lots of things where you can just kill stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, to me, that was the first example, and I was like, what? I don't even have to fight a boss? I can just do this one thing, and it kills him? That's awesome.
So there's a bunch of things that like encourage you thinking outside of the box, which I should maybe get a couple comics together or whatnot. I have the Rick and Morty D&D.
Yeah.
It's just like a dungeon crawl. So it's basic, very easy, comes with pre-made characters and everything. But maybe I'll have to do that and have you play.
Yeah, I'd be interested to like learn a little more about how it works now, because I went from completely confused and frustrated to having fun but confused to like, that was a fun game, and I'm still just a little bit confused, but not very much, but just a little. And I didn't have to finish the game with Karth, and that makes it all better. So, oh yeah, and there was that fucking dude. Did you spend a lot of time playing that card game?
Yes.
What the fuck was that game called? There's people listening
Uh,
to this that are gonna yell at
the,
us.
yeah.
It starts with this. I
But
literally finished this like 2 weeks ago.
anyway, yeah. There's some cool shit you can get with the game.
It
Uh,
it's when I
it,
first started playing it, I was like, this is so fucking cheap. It's like because you basically have to count up to 20, get as close to 20 as you can.
Yeah.
If you've never played it, I don't even think we could do it justice to explain it. But like the first few times I was playing, I was like, the computer just kept hitting the right cards to win. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is bullshit. But then you start to unlock extra cards. Pazak. Pazak, that's what it's called. Then you start to unlock cards where you can have like the plus or minus aspect of the card. And then
Yeah.
it becomes totally playable. And I was like, dude, this would be a fun like mobile game on its own.
Yeah.
Like just this.
Yeah. It was kind of like that card game in Final Fantasy 9
Yeah, Final Fantasy
the-
9 had a great card game.
in the aspect that you were like, I'm gonna save before every card game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, 'cause I'm probably gonna lose.
Yeah, those games are so like some of the like I played Witcher 3 and I hate Gwent, the card game in it. I don't get it. I get it. I just don't like it.
That's fair.
Whereas the Final Fantasy 9 one I thought was rad, and this one I didn't play a ton of, but every time I came across somebody that would play, I would throw a wager down and play, especially because as the dark side, I had so much money to blow, I didn't even care.
Yeah.
I could get how if you were playing on the light side, those would be like invaluable to make money.
Yeah.
Like, because like on the dark side, you can hold everyone up for money, kill people and take their money. Like the dark side, it's so easy to make cash. I can't even imagine how little money you have playing it the other way.
Oh, you have so little, man. So you're like always just scraping by until like you get force powers, then you're like all in on like force power regeneration. You're making characters that are hyper specialized,
Right.
right? You're like, no, man, this Basil is only going to be using for healing, essentially.
right.
You're like, that's all you're going to do. Don't even bother doing anything else, and then you just have two tanks that go up and just take a beating,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. I was fucking, man, I'm thoroughly impressed. I've never played a game like this before. And I was like, and I love the original Xbox. And this game shows up on almost every list of the best original Xbox games. It's Halo, Halo 2, and this are the three best original Xbox games. And so I was like, all right, fine, I should fucking play this, and then at least I'll know. Thoroughly impressed. Like, what a great RPG. Fucking, the characters are fun. It just, like, the only complaint I have, really, is I find it a little confusing, which is that's more me than the game. And then that first few hours is boring as fuck.
yeah.
But you just got to get through it. You just get through that first few hours, and then it gets fucking rad. I just read it was placed number 3 on the best games of the decade, 2000 to 2009. It was the third best game of the decade, which I believe.
I could see it, man. It is so much replayability.
Yeah,
The storyline is good. You can really do it, the consequences, like having people die because they attacked you and you didn't realize that they were a person that you could play.
yeah.
Because there's lots of people that just attack you and you just kill them.
Like I'm thinking of like Final Fantasy VII. Imagine if you could kill Vincent. Like instead of recruiting him, you could fight him and kill. Because I had no idea, literally until 20 minutes ago when I was prepping for this podcast, I had no idea that girl I killed could have joined my team. No fucking clue.
And she's a dark side one too, right?
Fucking figures.
Well, there can only be 2, right?
I suppose, yeah. No, that was great, man. I'm fucking thoroughly impressed with this game. I thought the mini games were fun, side quests were fun, the combat once you figure it out is rad. The characters are so awesome, and I think personally my biggest plus to this game is they found a way to make the good and bad side decisions matter. And it's obviously if there's a franchise and stuff that would work, it's Star Wars with the Force and the dark side and the light side, and they did it so well. I assume the ending is completely different if you go into it as a good guy. Like completely different.
Seriously, just go in right before you fight the boss, and then just pick all the light side stuff. It might be a little bit harder to beat him, but you can get the ending that way. You don't have to play through the whole game.
Yeah, maybe I will do that because I'll replay it eventually, but it'll be a long time. It's a long. I want to play. Is the second one good? Second one just as good?
Yes, second one's it's a longer and there's more you can do. I personally don't feel it's as good. Like it's just not as tight
Okay.
of a game, but no, it's real good. There's a lot more you can do though.
All right.
So
Does your character carry over?
No, you
No.
get a new one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and you have like a new chick who's like guiding around. She's kind of evil.
Love it.
Yeah.
It's all about evil.
Something else that's very underrated, and I mean this might just affect me personally when I play games like this. But having your character, say if you have melee weapons equipped on them,
Yeah.
I think you can hit like the select button or the action button, and while you're running around, he'll like twirl his weapons around. So like you don't have to like it's not just monotonous running when you're not in combat,
I never noticed that.
right?
Oh, man.
And then you could if you were trying to get in between places, you could put force speed on. So you could cast force speed and then just fucking run through towns.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right? So there were like little things that helped the gameplay so that you weren't just like, especially you're on one of those ones where it's like run all the way back to town.
Yeah.
And it's you just spent, like 3 hours questing in this open area. Then you got to walk all the way back, drop something off, and then walk all the way back to where you were.
Yeah.
Right? They make it so that it's not just monotonous. Oh, hey, look, my guy is walking. Like in that Community episode where they do D&D, and they're like, and so they walked, and Abed described them walking. And so
No, but you're right though. Like, dude, there's a lot of like, I mean, listen, I love, especially the Super Nintendo RPGs are like my favorite RPGs ever.
Yeah.
But like Final Fantasy IV, Final Fantasy VI, those are the two that stick out to me. There are aspects where like I miss items when I play through them because I'm like, I just don't have the patience to do the fucking hour-and-a-half hike through this like cave and back with all the random encounters in it. And like, I'm so used to being able to like playing Shining Force on the Sega Genesis collection on my Switch and being able to fast forward was a godsend. Like every RPG ever needs that because that's the worst part is the slow, monotonous fucking walking. God damn.
I have Final Fantasy 12 for the Switch, and they have like a 4 times speed thing, and I'm like, oh man, you know what I'm gonna do is fill up my license board.
Yeah, like every RPG ever needs that. Every RPG ever.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know you, buddy. You got what else you got? Is that it?
No, that's pretty much it. If you play again, play as a lady, and then
I will.
make sweet love to Karth.
Oh no, I'm killing Karth. I'm fucking killing. Oh, I hate Karth. Oh yeah, and that was the other thing when I started killing off all my crew at the fucking like right before the end there. Karth runs off like a pussy, and I don't think I ever got a chance to kill him.
I think he's in the second one too.
Oh fuck, he's such a loser. Oh, I don't think we should be doing that. I just wanted to be like, I'll fucking kill you. Like, I hate you.
Yeah. So be the chick, and then just persuade him to be bad.
Yeah, I will, and then I'll still kill him.
Still kill him.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Well, major shout out to everybody that fucking suggested this game because this game is rad. And then shout out to you for like literally moments after I posted that I was going to cover this game, being like, I would like to cover that game.
I saw you post it and I was like, I'm going to jump on this.
Yeah.
Jump on it so fast.
That was fast, but that's great because you fucking know what you're talking about, and it was rad. I'm trying to think of a way to fucking score this thing. There's 9 characters, but I only had 8 because I killed one. So on a scale of 1 to 8 living characters, how many characters would you give Star Wars KOTOR?
Oh, I would give this 7.5.
All right, that's a good score. Yeah, I'd probably give it a 7. Like I can't think of too much stuff I didn't like. It was really rad, and like it really makes you care about the characters. The decisions matter. The problem solving aspect of the side quest is vastly underrated.
The piss off of fucking getting a game over was what it was like. It was bad, but in the grand scheme of things, I was like, it's nice that they did that.
Yeah, it was. That was old school. Like that was like playing a Super Nintendo RPG and dying, and then realizing you hadn't gone to a save point in 3 hours.
And having to go back.
That dude. But like having said that, that fucking trial when you kill that thing underwater, I was so mad. I thought it was fucking with me. Like to this moment, like until the game reset. I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
how I felt too.
right? And then it brings up your load screen, and it's like, are you fucking shitting me
Fucking-
right now? You
You're like,
mother.
I
fuck.
have to go back. So you're like trying to find a save position that goes back before you killed that guy.
Yeah. When I'm in charge of this whole fucking galaxy or whatever the hell it is, I'm blowing this fucking planet up. Anyways, good stuff, buddy. Thank you very much for doing this, man.
No, man, thank you
And we'll
for
talk.
having me.
Yeah, we'll do the second one someday too.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
let me know.
I will.
I'll be in for it.
All
Okay.
right.
Bye.
And that's going to do it for this week's episode, everybody. Miklos, thank you so much for talking Star Wars with me. Every single one of you, thank you for listening. And to all of you that voted for KOTOR in the Patreon poll, thanks for voting good, because that was a fucking really fun game. We'll be back next week with episode 99. I'll be back on Sunday with the next episode of Expansion Pass, which will be a Streets of Rage 4 review. You can get all those over at patreon.com/rememberthegame for only $2. Enter the Switch Lite draw, you guys. The email is in the description box. I promise your email is safe. I'm not smart enough to do anything with it. I just want to give this thing away. Take it easy. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Clean your controllers. Look out for giant bees. I hope it's not raining where you are like it is here. And I will talk to you again in a few days. Cheers.